Now I am not the best with armored gameplay, so today we're gonna be training that one. This is a replay of a match I did like in the middle of the night, so I wasn't really able to do any live commentary on it. But it turned out to be a really interesting one. We are playing as the 79th Armored, and if you have seen from my videos, I'm not really an armored gamer. I like to play with infantry, I like to play with airborne battle groups. But armor I definitely do enjoy because, there's a lot of micro that comes in, that comes to play with it. So yeah, we're gonna give the 79th Guard a try, and I think the biggest thing about the 79 is that you have Spetsnaz GRUs that you can call in for 65 points each, which is definitely underpriced compared to other recon that's, for example, the some of the, the NATO sniper teams that are basically worse stats, but 15 points more, like the Special Aufklär. But yeah, Spetsnaz GRU right now really powerful, so we got 3 of those going to the front, and we got a couple of OSAs and a Cub coming in, together with a TAD BVK and a UD, and 2 supply trucks. And on the right side we have motorized, I keep calling motorized, we have Rasvetka, that is going to flank and try to drop off infantry here, and they come in MI8 MTVs that have rockets. Oh, actually, it's just the MI8. What is it called actually? MI8 rocket. MIIT rockets. There you go. Now on the left side we have Chaser with the 7th Armored, but he is getting heli rushed in the beginning here by Mr. Baldu, who's playing as the 11th Blinde. So, not really the biggest surprise there. But the 11th Blinde obviously really good with these cheap Gazelle cannons for 35 points each. And you also get the Gazelle Hots for 55 points, and you get amazing AT gems. Luckily though, we do have some strong AA here. We also call in some MiG-21s. I have my Su-25 coming in here as well. And basically these Gazelle cannons get destroyed by one shot. Now on the right side we have Moscow pushing with the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division. And he has some good tanks, like some Leopard 2A3s, a lot of Leopard 1A1s, 1A5s, etc. But our plan is to do a really aggressive push in the beginning, so that we can use the rest of our income to keep buying tanks, keep buying AA and infantry. That is basically the entire way we want to play with this battle group. Every point, like every cycle of points that we get, is going to go into armor and AA. So we have our TAD BVK and UD just kind of nicely huddled up together, both basically veterancy, so the 2 Chevron veterancy. And they're going to be doing some damage there. So as I said, basically every points that we get goes back into the tanks. So we had another T80UD, 320 points plus a supply truck, that's 340 points, just charging forward. And that's going to be a big old problem. Now over here, the flank is happening, but Moscow is at least someone that knows the channel. So he was definitely expecting this. And he actually said that in the chat as well, so that was kind of nice to see, and that's kind of why I like to change my nickname sometimes, to make sure people don't recognize me and know my strategies, because that makes it a lot difficult. But sometimes I do appreciate the challenge. So let's see what else is being spawned in. Got a lot of gases going back. Our ally on the left side hasn't really done well, and Chaser did mention that it's been a hot minute since he played a game, but he's basically going into full containment mode, and he's going to try to contain and defend over there. Another T80 being called in, we've got a T80 BV coming in to the front as well. We have kind of spread our tanks out here a little bit. The command tank's still in the corner, and our UD is trying to defend at max range with the ATGMs that it has. The reflex with 21 AP, really good. So we did call in Su-25. This was initially meant for the Leopard 2A3 that we spotted here, and if we just go into neutral mode, you can see that it's still hidden in this little bush here. Now other tanks that he spawns in is a quad stack of 1A5s, definitely decent tanks, pretty good accuracy on the gun and range, not so much of a penetrator though, and definitely basically no armor on that bad guy. So kind of a bad toss-up for Moscow. Maybe 5th Armored, 5th Panzer would have been a, probably a better choice when you see someone playing as the 7th or 79th. But yeah, the aggressive openers with 2 heavy tanks definitely does a number on them. Now, I am always a bit hesitant. Another member on the Discord is really good with the 79, and I'm basically trying to imitate him because he plays really well with it. And basically his gameplay is just to buy like 5 or 6 Spetsnaz GRUs, have it line up the entire front, and have like 2 or 3 of your heavy tanks destroy the enemy opener. And then with the points that you get, you just keep buying more tanks and more AA. And that's why you overwhelm the enemy that way. Beautiful loyalty gem hit here earlier on the Leopard 1A5. Actually one taps it. Really nice. That is on a frontal shot too, which is really impressive. Now we have this 2A3 over there, non-command variant. Firing at my TADUD, luckily for us it misses. We get a beautiful little hit, putting it down to 6 HP. And TADUD is basically unstoppable at max range in the open. Another nice little shot on this guy, putting it down to 8 HP, so that does quite a bit of damage on something with 19 front armor. Another hit puts it down to 6, so we peek with our TADBVK here to try to get another shot. But unfortunately that guy is hidden, but we do take out his M113 recon, and that definitely helps us quite a bit. Now the SU-25 is still was still circling here, but at this point we kind of realized that we don't need it that badly. More AA being spawned in as well. We definitely want to have a nice balance of tanks, and speaking of, we just spawned in another TADUD, so you can really just keep pumping these out. And I want to try the same thing with American Armored. But the one thing I noticed with the American Armored is, you know, you could use some better recon. The LRS is great, but they don't have any anti-tank weapons. Excuse me, I'm a bit sleepy boy today. So the Leopard 1A5s are moving into a defensive position, it seems. The 2A3 is moving up while being damaged. Not the best choice here. I think he doesn't want me to build up too much, but well, it's already quite late for that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 heavy tanks, and we have another UD coming up to the front. So that's going to be 5 heavy tanks there in a couple seconds. So it's really rough. Like the first 5 minutes, or 7 minutes in this case, if you manage to break your opponent's tanks or opponent's opener, you're in good shape. You're gonna probably win that fight. It's kind of insane. But we do have some supply trucks here on standby just to get all of our tanks both on good HP, but also just to keep those smoke dispensers filled up. So MI8 Rocket 2, it basically has a gazillion rockets, like 100 and what is that, 92? That is a lot of rockets, man. That is going to keep blasting until that unit is dead. VLRAs poking their heads out, immediately getting rocketed by this helicopter. One of them is almost destroyed actually, but the other one somehow is untouched. And this is literally just a pickup truck with a 20 mil on it. Kind of a derpy little AA piece. Now the 7th Armored holds a special place in my heart. Yeah, really good in terms of price. They're like 110 points. And they have really good AP, like 18 AP on most of their tanks. So on the right side, we are keeping our attack up on the enemy. Jäger Aufklärer is spotted there. Immediately getting blasted by all of our units. Yeah, there's just too much firepower here. We are taking hits, but that is part of the deal here. We are playing hyper aggressive with our armor. Normally I don't do a push like this. Normally I push infantry into the forest, you know, try to cut them off here, and then I kind of do a pincer move. But right now we're just going for it. ATGMs left and right, just almost one-tapping tanks. Especially the Cobra ATGMs. They are just so good. 21 AP on, or 20 to 21 AP, actually 19 to 21 AP on ATGMs on all of our units. That is insane. So TADBV, even against the 2A3, will do some damage. We have another ATGM hit there, dealing 2 HP from the TADUD's reflex, and a beautiful another hit from the TADBV, and that guy's already down to 6 HP. And with that, it's dead. With the reflex ATGMs. It's amazing. 79, super powerful. So we do spot a Parmalan here, so we're basically just, well, We're just trying to stun it before it manages to land a hit. And with that we do stun it, and after that it's basically child's play to take that guy out. So as I said, most of our tanks or points went into tanks and AA, but now we're also starting to get some mechanized infantry. We have BMP2s built with Monostrelici just to get into these buildings, get into these defensive points, but also to supply ourselves with autocannons. T80UD almost gets clapped. I think if that other Leopard 2A3 also hits, we might have lost that guy. But we do bring a 2A3 down to 1 HP. EVK opens up, puts it down to 6. ATGM fires at it, actually hits. I'm surprised. That only did 1 HP damage though. But in general, nice little position with that ATGM. Quite aggressive as well, but it does do the trick. Now the enemy is up ahead by 448 points, so we're definitely not in the best scenario there. But I have a really good position on the right side, as you can see. And as soon as we secure this, we're going to try to help out our teammates on the left. So Leopard 2A3 is getting hit, or not hit, getting repaired by CH53 and is already at 50%, well 60% health. And that goes really, really quick. So I'm basically trying to move these guys into the flank and take that guy out before he manages to fully repair. Because, you know, that could still be a problem. That could definitely still be a problem. CH53 is getting the hell out of there, but that tank is not going to be able to fix anytime soon anymore. A lot of ATGMs being fired from the Gazelle Hots. Luckily, the MP goes into a forest, so we are doing just fine. Here's the BMP2s, supported by all of the heavy tanks that we can muster. And we have the Monostrelicis going into a nice little defensive place. Here we go. A T80UD and a T80BV holding strong. Leopard 2A3 shows its side and gets absolutely blasted by the T80UD. That is a nasty tank. That accuracy is kind of insane. Kind of insane. So at this point, I'm gonna start helping out our friends, because his zone is not doing great. 11th Infantry, obviously, or 11th Airborne I should say, obviously really good with infantry, but not so much with open fields. It has poor AA, everything is Mistrals or 20mm cannons or Mistral trucks. It has good planes, but most of it are Mirages. And the helicopters are basically limited to Gazelle Hots and the cannon ones. So it has some strong weaknesses that you can exploit. One of them obviously being using armor. That is always a good idea when you're up against the 11th. Now the Milan 2s are kind of wrecking this unit. We did 2 HP there with one good little hit. So that is against 21 front armor. And it seems to deal 2 HP. But that's actually not too bad. The 105s, I do respect this. Baldu's using a lot of 105s and starts pummeling the entire area. Really good artillery piece to use, super high or a quick aim time on those. So you can get some fire on the enemy really, really quick. So at this point we are also getting some more supplies. We get a Buratino to help out on the left side, and that is basically going to target like a good concentration of enemy forces. More BMP2s with Monostrelicis. And yeah, so that really worked, that opening with having a T80BVK together with, you know, something like a T80UD. I might try like different combinations of tanks, maybe a T80U, because it's 20 points cheaper, and combine that with perhaps either a UD or a T80BVK. I haven't figured that one out yet, but that could also be a really interesting one to use. Now BMP2s are just wonderful. I don't know how, but BMP2s are probably one of the best APCs in this game. You get a good cannon, good ATGM, decent armor, one more than a Bradley. So yeah, it's actually kind of insane how good it is. Now we have a regular UD and also a Command T80, blasting away at the Milans. The moment you can spot them, they're really easy to destroy. You just pop smoke, fire like 2 or 3 rounds, and that's basically a goner. So we do micro these guys nicely, we keep them hidden in the smoke whenever these guys are almost, you know, close to us with their ATGM. And the moment the ATGM goes haywire, we move in the tanks again and engage. So good little supply mission. One thing that I don't have here is a fob, since it's a small match. And if it was a 4v4, I would have definitely put a fob down, because you just never know. Now Buratino's aiming up. I'm not going to open up just yet. I basically put it on return fire, which makes it hold. And we'll just basically activate it whenever we need it. So zooming back out, we have some more defensive units. We have Spetsnaz GRU and some Sapries coming in to build a force in the forest. Now if we go back into neutral mode, you can see that Moscow is definitely pushing quite a lot of units into that forest. And that's what I would do, so I go ahead and reinforce this part of the hill system there. So otherwise, I am basically just getting infantry and APCs to help out my friend on the left. Two of these tanks are keeping a nice little eye on this open field here. We have Motostrelki just moving forward, and BMP2 holding out at max range as well. Basically at ATGM range in case something peaks. Just BMP after BMP. Now, our ally is doing not too bad actually. I do like the tank positioning. This guy specifically is in a really good position to just give fire support. Nothing can really hit it unless there is something at the edge of this forest right there. But otherwise, this guy is also quite well hidden. And with the help of MI8s covering this opening here, it's being really effective. T-72 is actually out of ammunition. It's out of shells. Look at that. It fired 44 times. That is nuts. Now Buratino opens up. Buratino does not really see an awful lot, but there are two of these ATGM squads that we do clean up. Firing on the force here would have been much more effective, but at least we take out the entire front there. And we move up some Strellas, because he has 3 Gazelle Hots, and we start lobbing some missiles at those. We immediately take out one, which is really nice. So if those guys gets a couple of hits, you're going to be in danger. Now TDUD just one taps a Leopard 185 with its ATGM. Like, I have not seen that happen that often. That is quite amazing, I have to say. 1 out of 3 ATGMs here hit as well. Nice to see. Let's see if the TDUD gets another nice little smack. Nope. Didn't work that time. But we do have some BMPs opening up, but we miss it. One thing we lack is recon. That is one thing I need to definitely work on. Get some Spetsnaz GRUs to lead. Because we did really well on the right side with them, but not so much on this side. Not to worry though, we got some really nice hits with our tanks. Leopard 2A3 once again smoking off. Another 2A3 peeks out of the forest. But he is getting nicely supplied. So he has a full smoke dispenser. Now this guy almost got doinked. He's down to 1 HP, so he's gonna retreat and get fixed up. In the meantime, we have Pulmachikis, guys with 3 PKMs moving into the area. I was basically just hoping for this to be empty. Group anti-char somehow misses twice, and we actually survive with the Pulmachikis. And here you go. We just have autocannons and heavy tanks giving fire support. TDUD almost getting destroyed by the P-Lance launchers here. We basically barely get out with just 1 HP left on that guy. That guy kind of harried right there. Look at that. That is a beautiful firing line. That is so good. Now, not having a fob does hurt, because the Buratino every time uses, well, 1400 supplies, so that is literally 1.5 of these big old supply trucks, and I don't have a lot of them. So I call an SU-24 right on top of the group anti-char. There really isn't much left over there, but it does do the trick of finishing that off. And we have our ally sending in some bombs, I believe. Nope, he's doing RM-70 strike on the forest to clear out the rest of these guys. And with that, we are also moving in BTR-80s with Motostrelakis that have 20 AP RPGs, just in case there are some tanks in this area. Now as 11th Airborne, he doesn't have much. He has ERCs. But you know what? You wanna take those out in one shot. With that, we are quite spread out. We are still, you know, getting some action on the right side. We have Panzergrenadiers and Jaegers engaging us in the forest. Luckily, we have Saparies, we have Spetsnaz GRU, and in case they do go into the open field here, we do have some tanks here on standby, so I am moving one of these tanks up to give some good fire support. The enemy does like to use a lot of airplanes, especially these guys with the laser guided bombs. Actually, that was a that was a laser guided bomb. Not doing so much damage. Not doing so much damage. I think it's also the accuracy. It didn't really hit right on top of our tank, but I would like to see that to do a little bit more damage on me. Well, tanks are still going strong. Buratino is still reloading, so that's probably going to be a little bit too late. We have our BVK over here that is just holding a good position here that overlooks that open area. And we have another BVK moving out to engage that guy. Now mind you, we only have 17 front armor, 18 AP. That guy is 19-19. So that's going to be a rough toss up there. We do get a beautiful hit. He's down to 7 HP. Tank is still hitting these guys. We get another hit. He's down to 6 HP. After that we smoke. We've probably already used up all of our luck. Nope, we get another hit. He's down to 4 HP. Another one puts it down to 3. Another one takes it down a little bit more. And we have an SU-22 coming in to finish the job. I can't believe my ally stole that kill. My heart is in a million pieces. But the Seeker Runes here, they are really not good. Yeah. They're just security units. They're not really gonna do much. Security units are good to basically hold at like, you know, at like this line here. Basically just to make sure nothing is surprising you from the flank. Now a couple of Leopard 185s are being called in, so Moscow is now helping out on the left side here. We do have another SU-22 coming in, takes out one of the Leopard 185s, but against the tanks that we have, yeah, it's not gonna end well for those poor little Leopard 185s. Nasty crossfire from all over the place is doing a number on those guys. That is quite disgusting. And at this point, we're just getting more infantry. Now, I just want to make sure that Moscow doesn't do a big old attack on the right side, so I'm getting a lot of Monostrelakis on the right flank here in a defensive posture. So we're not going to do anything crazy there. But we are definitely not going to just abandon the far right flank. We will keep working on it. Man, criminally underrated, these MIA TVs. 145 points for something that can stun anything. But I am really enjoying the armored gameplay. I think if I was up against America armored, I would probably have a harder time, even if I was up against German armored. But that opening with just Spetsnaz GRUs and like 2 or 3 heavy tanks, man, that does some wonders. You gotta make sure though that you get enough AA. If you don't, you're gonna be in trouble. Milan, Paras, way too close range. These guys are getting absolutely trashed at with all the Monostrelakis and Saparies that are moving forward. Unfortunately, Chaser's AA is just not the best. I mean, they are on elite, but the Strela 10Ms themselves aren't really that great to begin with. Good little bombing run there. Now we have another Buratino strike coming in. I wonder if there's actually anything in that corner, just a scimitar it seems. That is going to be a little bit of an overkill versus scimitar, for sure. I hope we at least take it out, because otherwise I'm going to be angry. Yeah, there you go. So Monostrelaki together with Saparies and our BMP-1 clearing the forest on the left side. Command is right there. So we are trying to hunt that down and get us back on points. We are slowly gaining, and we are now in the vicinity or in the area of draw. So at this point, if the game ends, it'll be a draw. So that is already a decent little comeback there. But I really enjoy the armored fight here the most. BVK's moving in with BMP2s. We're just charging them forward to break the deadlock that we had on the left side for quite some time. Now TADUD does get side shot down to 5 HP immediately by a Leopard 185. So we stop our tanks here and just go doinkin'. 2 Leopard 185s done at the same time. Poor little truck taken out there. But we are now getting countered by planes. TADBVK narrowly misses the tornado. Those Mavericks would have been deadly. That would have been quite rough. They are fire and forgets. It's actually quite impressive. I didn't know that. Yeah, the range is a little bit on the low side. And also the accuracy. 40% is really not good. Kind of makes me not want to use it. I don't know what hit us there. I think that, yep, that's a laser guided bomb. I guess when the tank is on 1 HP, it doesn't matter at that point. We almost get side shot there. Luckily we didn't. That would have been awkward. And right now we're just cleaning up artillery. We're +4. We have taken over the 2 middle zones here. That really just matters the most. And we have a really good defensive position on the right side. Lots of Monostrelakis with BMPs just hanging out. Now our supply situation once again is a little bit painful. So all of these guys are empty. The Buratino and the Cub can't really rearm. Like, we have a couple of supply trucks here, but they're all out. And these guys were used up by the Buratino, and these 3 are empty as well. We basically have 3 supply trucks that actually have a smidge of supplies left in them. Now we do keep moving with our tanks. That is really kind of the gist of this entire video. If you play as a 79, keep moving. You don't want to stop. You don't want to give the enemy time to build up too much, because at that point it just becomes a number game. And you don't want to do that. You want to give them the old quality clap in the beginning. And then keep overwhelming them. So the opener is essential. But again, just having Spetsnaz GRUs together with at least 2 pieces of AA. It can be Strela 10Ms, it can be Cubs. I do recommend getting a Cub and a Strela. And supplies. GRUs, AA, tanks, and supplies. That's the 4 things I think that makes the opener of the 79 so deadly. If used well. Now we have taken over that point. That puts us down to plus or up to +10. You can already guess, you know, who's gonna win here. But left side got a little bit hairy, and the right side was just perfectly executed to a degree that, you know, we kind of just decided the right side in the first 6 minutes. And that was kind of rough. Rough for the opponent, definitely. But nice that they're sticking around. So we got about 3 minutes left here on the clock, as you can see. Not really much happens throughout the rest of this, so I am going to put it on +2 for a little bit. I don't want to just bore you guys. There's a couple of, you know, just nice little pushes here from Moscow with Sikrungs. It was kind of painful to see these guys getting absolutely blasted by my double stack of UDs here, which is 640 points worth of units right there in one little tree line. That's got to be painful. What I've also started to appreciate a lot is BTR 80s. Obviously, you don't really get to use these a lot in any games, but having a KPVT with 1400 meters range, surprisingly good at doing, you know, at suppressing infantry, but also at actually causing casualties. You would not expect it to do a lot, but it really does. They're really, really good. Now Strela 1s, on the other hand, not the best, but the nice thing is they are wheeled, kind of like the OSA. They're basically a cheap OSA with, you know, 2% accuracy. Really, really bad, especially if something has any ECM. But yeah, the way to use them is to have 3 of them and just overwhelm. But the downside is they only carried 4 missiles. But look at the nice little cover of units we have on the right side. So good. But yeah, the The graveyard of empty supply trucks does grow this entire game, and basically all these guys are empty. They've either been used on repairing tanks, refilling artillery, or keeping our AA supplied. Now at this point, we're just trying to do some cool things here. The main battle is really kind of over, so we do move our T80 army up. We actually get side shot by the Fallschirmjäger Aufklär, and we do lose a BV there, but not to worry. That is just one. We can spawn 6 more, just like that. So 87-85 versus 25-70. Not a bad game. SC-25 was used on the Gazelles, but T-80 did some damage there. BVK actually doing some work. Cubs taking down 1 heli and 2 planes, and this guy just massacring leopards left and right. A ton of fun to play, so I do want to thank the opponents for sticking it out and giving us an entertaining match to enjoy. And with that, GG's, and I'll see all of you in the next video, so take care.